In 2015, we left the rat race and went to the farm. We bought a 100-year-old farmhouse and 9 acres. After 3 years of extensive renovations, we can finally call ourselves College Hill Farm.
Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Today, we're sharpening knives. We're going to do our kitchen cutlery. It's almost harvest time, so it's time to make sure that our stuff is ready to go. There's nothing more frustrating than having a load of corn on the back porch and your knives are dull. Or having a load of tomatoes and your knives are dull. So it's harvest season. It's time for us to sharpen everything up. Now, this is not an instructional video on how to sharpen anything. This is just something to show you what we do. We have an assortment of knives, everything from using a filleting knife all the way down to these little individual knives. These are probably our favorites. But we've also got the heavier knives, the chef's knives. Some of these are really dull. This one's about as dull as it can get, but Crystal uses it all the time. So we're going to get at sharpening these, and I'm going to show you how. What you need. Well, I have one of these. It's an automatic knife sharpener, but in my opinion, it's no more than just a hone, like using leather to hone with. So I like to sharpen my knives with a blade, with a rock. But this one's got a little hone right here, and it's not a rock, it's a metallic hone. So I use that for the serrated blades. This little part right here I use for the serrated blades. Then I've got this one. It's just not much. Probably came from the dollar store. It's okay for knocking a burr off, but other than that, that's about all it's for. This is my #1 sharpening tool. It's an Arkansas stone. You can see it here. It's well used. It's not wore out. I've got a couple that are plumb wore out. They're almost in two in the center. I've used them so much. But this is our #1 stone. This is what we use to sharpen almost everything, including serrated knives. They want you to get this round hone to do serrated knives, and I found that you really don't have to do that. You can use the corner of this soft Arkansas stone and wipe down in there. Most serrated knives, the only problem they have is there's a burr. And you can use this stone on the back side and then go inside of each serration with the corner, and that pretty well takes care of it. My corners are kind of rounded over. Well, that's because I've been using it that way, and now they're rounded where they fit almost perfect. So that's what I'm going to do. It's not an instructional video again. It's a rainy day and we just need to do something because I'm bored and I can't hardly sit still. So I'm going to go ahead and sharpen up all of our cutlery, and I'll show you how we do that. I'm going to start off with just a plain knife. Now, this stone could benefit from some water or some oil, but I don't do that. I don't worry about it. Because I'm going to be done with each knife so quick, I don't let them get super dull. So I'm going to be done with each knife so quick. This knife, it needs some help. So we'll start. All we need is this Arkansas stone for this knife. I just draw it, holding it at about a 15-degree angle to the tip. Try and kind of do the same number each direction. I don't always make sure I get that. I just do it till it feels right. It's a little better. It's not ready yet. Okay, I feel it biting now. When you feel it start to bite, you know you're developing a burr. So you're probably there. Yes, that's about right. So now I use the leather. And the beautiful thing is my little Arkansas stone comes in its own little leather, came in its own little leather pouch. So I've got my own leather. You can see where it's darkened, where I've stropped so many things with it. That way. And that way. And that knife's ready to cut whatever. That's how you do regular knives. Now let's pick a serrated blade. Let's see, which one do I want to do? I'm going to do a bread knife. See this blade? It's serrated. I don't know if you can see it right there. It's serrated, and the grooves are on this side. But this side is just flat. But you can see that there's a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, but there's just a little bit of a bevel here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stone and go into that bevel and just hone that bevel just a little. Okay, so I'm going to start. You shouldn't feel it going over each individual thing. You want it to just hone at the bevel. Okay, now you can feel where I've honed that. I'm going to do it a couple more times. You can feel where I've honed that there's a burr developing right here on the inside of each one of these little things. So now I just take my stone and I deburr each burr. Of the serration. Now a lot of these serrated knives are not made to be sharpened. They have an irregular serration, and so we try and stay away from those. We have some though. They're basically steak knives is what they are. And I hone those too, and I'll show you right here in just a second all I do for them. Doing every piece. Now I come back and there's that burr now on the back side. So I just take my hone and hit it 3 times. I don't feel the burr. So now it's time to let my leather do a little work. And I just scrape this back over it. Go through the whole knife probably twice. Now the back. And you'll notice this knife's already getting sharp. It's cutting into the leather. Now, let's see how that knife feels. Okay, that knife would cut paper real easy. It just slice through it. I'm not going to do that because I just don't do that stuff. But that knife's ready to go too. So now I've got, 10 or 15, 20 to go. And I promised you I'd show you the ones that you can't, that the bevels are irregular. See this one? It's got those little tiny bevels, just little tiny. Well, when you got a knife like this, this knife was designed to be thrown away. when you were done with it? Well, all I do for a knife like this one is I take my stone. Well, before I do that, I use this, okay, and I put it in the scissors. I put it in the scissors part and drag it twice. Now I turn it around and do the other side. Now once I do that, I feels pretty good, but there's quite a bit of burr. I hit it on that side. Now I hit it on this side, so the peaks of that knife are fairly sharp. And that one's ready to go now too. But you'll notice that most of these knives that are designed to be thrown away, they have a bevel on both sides. So you can actually sharpen them to the bevel on both sides. That's just how I do it. You might tell me, oh, I'm totally wrong. Well, I put up about between 1.5 and 2.5 thousand pounds of food every year with these, and we keep them good and sharp. So however you want to look at it. Okay, now I've got plenty to do, so on to the next thing. I'd like to thank you for visiting with us at College Hill Farm today. I hope you found our videos entertaining and or informative. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on both Facebook and YouTube. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.